everybody, what's going on? Right, abortion video time. I made one, it was the first video I made, but this is a new one because I'm more educated on the subject now, and I can tell you how I feel almost 2 years later. So, I would first like to note that I believe abortion is okay no matter what the situation. My situation is a bit different. People say, well, if a woman was raped, that's not what happened to me, but if a woman was raped, then it's okay if she has an abortion. Abortion isn't selective, in my opinion. If you just don't want a child, if it's not time, whatever your reason, that's justified. You don't have to justify it. So don't think you need to have a dramatic reason in order to have an abortion. Right. With that said, here's my story. And again, I'm going to leave out other people and other aspects. I'm only going to focus on my aspect and my reasons, because this is my story and I don't want to include other people. And yeah, so right. So 2 years ago, I became pregnant. I'm from America. My husband is in England. I got pregnant the first night I came here. If anyone wants to know that detail. I did not know it. I found out when I was probably about 6 weeks, 5 or 6 weeks. And I was very excited. We were both very excited at first, but that quickly diminished. Not only because of the situations in my life that I'm not going to go into, but my mental health began to decline. Now, abortion does not cause mental illness. In fact, actually going through full term and having a child, that has a much higher rate of causing mental illness than having an abortion. But, unless you have a pre-existing mental condition. I have a pre-existing mental condition. I have complex PTSD, among other things. And so I would say about 9 weeks in, I began to hate. I literally hated everything. The only comforting thought, and I write all the time, and you can watch my mental health decline, right? I planned to kill myself if I could not have an abortion. I had never thought of the word abortion. In passing, I had mentioned abortion or talked to someone about abortion, but it wasn't an issue to me. And I feel blessed because of my abortion, because it opened my eyes a lot. And it's an issue that everyone needs to know about, and everybody needs to talk about, whether you've had an abortion or not. It shouldn't take having an abortion in order to understand how intense and fearful and horrific it is to be pregnant and not want to be pregnant. You have something growing inside of you. It's terrifying if you don't want it. So, anyway, back to my story. So you can watch my mental illness decline. I began to get obsessed with my own death. If I could have, at that time, cut myself open and aborted myself, I would have. I did not want to be pregnant. It was not a joyous occasion. It became a torturous occasion. I would cry when I had to go. When I had to go for checkups and stuff. Because I could see my husband, and at the time, he wanted it. And even though he later admitted it's for the best, at that time I thought, I gotta do this for him. So I would cry, and I would cry because I couldn't handle it. People would say things like, well, you can handle it. You may think you can't handle it, but you can. No, if there's a mountain over here and it's 1,000 miles high, you can tell me all you want that I can climb it, but I can guarantee you, I take 10 steps, I'm gonna pass out. I know what I can handle. So I began to start getting out of bed. I would just lay in bed and sob all day. I did not want to be pregnant. I grew to loathe everything, and I planned my suicide out to a perfection. I won't get my suicide plan online, but it was there, and had I not been able to access abortion, I would have gone ahead, right? So I had a late-term abortion. It was 23 weeks, and I don't regret it at all. I don't believe it was murder, and if we even mess with I believe life begins at birth, but even if it began at conception, I believe I did the right thing, because I saved a child from coming into a horrific world. My mental illness alone, like, for instance, I've been cutting since I was 4 years old. It's been a battle all my life. I don't want a child to come in and see their mother doing that. And that's humane to not want that. I can't provide. Me and my husband can't. There's so many reasons, and I'm not going to justify or go into those. I'm just focusing on the mental aspect. So I have my suicide plans, and I've attempted suicide before, so I perfected this one. It would have worked. But 1 week. This is why I support third trimester abortions, because had I been 1 week late, had I not been able to raise the money the week before, I would have killed myself. And that's a life-ending antis or pro-lifers. My life would be ended along with your precious fetus, right? So here's what happened. I went in. I saw, they asked me if I wanted to see. I said yes. I saw him. And I fell in love. I was in love with him. I am in love with him. It was beautiful. I sobbed all the way, the hundreds of miles back, because it's a 3-day process, or it was a 3-day process, and I was staying in Texas. I cried. I stayed up all night. Is this what I really want to do? So I made a pro and con list. I wrote tons and tons of stuff. And in the end, all of it pointed to the same conclusion. The best thing for me, and the best thing for this fetus to be child, was to abort, was to not bring it into this world. And so I went through with it. I remember right after it happened, the next day you go in and they do the thing, and then the third day you go in and you have the procedure. I remember when it was over, I was so relieved. There was a massive weight lifted off of me. I no longer was responsible for a soon-to-be life that I could not care for. I could not have cared for it properly. Children deserve better. I deserve better. I've never had a good life. And the moment my life began to get hopeful looking, this came. And it was not, I felt so bitter towards that. I felt like it was stealing the potential good moments in my life. And, so for me and for this fetus, for both of us, it was the best choice. And, so the moment I woke up, I just remember I was so relieved. I did grieve a bit, and that's normal within the first couple of weeks, because your hormones are flying around, and people don't make the choice to have an abortion just off a whim. Abortion isn't a method of birth control, contrary to what antis and conservatives want you to think. It's not a method of birth control. Any woman who's had an abortion knows that. I've had 2, but that's another video. It's a medical procedure. So I'm just like, I'm gonna make a part. Should I make a part 2 or should no? We're gonna keep going. Right. So, a month after, 2 months after, I wrote this, and here we go. This is how I felt about having an abortion afterwards. Though I struggled with it because I wanted to please everybody else, that was the only reason I struggled with it. That was the hardest part, is thinking I'm going to let all these people down, because I knew it was best for the fetus. I knew it was best for me. And this is what I wrote. I put, now that it is all over, I can honestly say, had I not done this, my life may as well be over. I was coming close to having the window of opportunity closed because I had to wait so long based on personal reasons. One of these reasons was because I did try to be strong and do this for my husband, but in the end, I could not handle it. For the first time in months, I feel like I may have my future back. Abortion may not be right for all, but it was for me at this stage in my life. I don't take it lightly. It took me months of debating, and it is a lot harder when you are trying to put your spouse before yourself while making up your own mind about what is best for you and your future child. I'm glad I have done this. This just goes to show, most people don't understand how hard it is, how deeply we love. I can only speak for myself, but this was the hardest yet best choice I've ever made. And I would not do it differently if it happened again. So, there we are. It's not the most detailed abortion story, I suppose, but there you are. I'm going to upload this, and I had tons of writing, and I really want to share it, but I'm not sure. I don't know, that's for another thing. But yeah, that's my abortion story. So let me sum it up, just in case anybody missed anything. My mental health was declining greatly. I was doing horrific things to myself, things I had never done to myself, insane things. I wasn't alive. I wasn't eating. I wasn't living. I was dying. Had I not been able to have an abortion at Whole Woman's Health, whom I think and owe my life to, I'd be dead. There's no doubt in my mind. And no, the studies show that within like the first few weeks, some women grieve and some women are back and forth with regret and not regret. And I understand a very few group of women do regret their abortion, but the vast majority, over 95%, end up not only not regretting it, but feeling relief from it. I felt relief. I feel relief. I felt relief months after, and now almost 2 years after. I know I did the right choice. The second abortion did not take debating. I knew right away, but the first one was harder to choose, and there we go. I made the right choice. I have no regrets. So if you're going through this, if you're considering an abortion, just know this: you're not a murderer. And I don't say that because I've had an abortion. I say that because I've researched it. I'm pre-med, and common sense and my spiritual beliefs. It's not it's not murder. It's not bad. That's just common sense. Aunties want you to believe it's bad so that you'll go and do what they want you to do. Foster homes and adoption agencies are overflowing, and they're not doing anything about that. Right, so I'm running out of time here. Anyway, I did it because I did love the fetus. I did love what was growing inside of me, and the best thing was the hardest thing. The best choice for myself and the best choice for the fetus to be child was to have an abortion, and I did it out of love, complete love, not for myself, but for the fetus and for my future. So, children deserve better than what I could have given, and I deserve better than what I would be going through right now if I had made it, which I would not have. So, anyway, if you need to talk to someone who's not going to judge you, either way, contact me. And no, I don't believe abortion is right for everybody, but if it is right for you, you have my full support. You're not a bad person. You're a strong woman. So listen to your heart knows. Talk to you guys later.